You're going to walk away with a ton of value. You're going to walk away with a better understanding of how this whole process is going to work and why it's genuinely going to change your lives around. So that's something I really want to drive home. See, something I really do is open up to people outside of the program. But like I said, I'm here to change the world, not just a handful of people. So just soak it in. And this is now where I've now gathered all of the information, what we did, how we did it, what worked, why it worked. And this is why we've shifted it. So the results have been wild, genuinely. I mean, where's Namitha? Namitha, are you there?
Hi.
You've really shifted in like a week or two. So I just want to say well done. Genuinely, like you're already looking at like building a business in India. So yeah, good for you.
Awesome.
You're nothing short. You're looking to build a six-figure business in the next 12 to 15 months.
It's true.
Don't forget what you're doing, guys. Each and every one of you. I mean, like Lloyd, you and your family, man. Like just the way you've built the presence for your family, you've just rebuilt your family back, and it all comes from you. You know what I mean? Ahmed, literally met you, and now I've got you and your partner in the program. Salma's here too. And it's been so nice to just see you guys just blossom. At the end of every month, we're going to round up how the month went. And at the start of every month, we're going to be planning our future, planning a month ahead. Because if you do not build your own plans in your life, you're just going to fall into someone else's plans. Bottom line. So that's something I need to drive home. So I'm just going to introduce a little bit about me. I have ADHD and I extremely suffered in my life with ADHD. I know that people in the program probably know this, but I was almost bankrupt. I went through a severe depression, an anxiety attack every day. I was medicated and I almost lost everything that meant the world to me. And it was when my wife walked up to me one day and said, she showed me a pregnancy state, said, I'm pregnant. I realized that I'm happy to let myself down, but I can't let my kids down. And then that's when I decided to go on a very, very uncomfortable journey, very uncomfortable. And I found myself, I read over 100 books. I studied, I learned, I got coaches, I studied a bit more, got more coaches. And even to this day, I've still got a coach, by the way. It's very important to understand that for me to be able to help you guys, I've been in the pain with you. I felt the struggle. I felt the hardship. I've been there. This is why I can help. This is why I do what I do. So the first thing I'm going to drive home is I'm going to share my modules and the new structure. And after working with each and every one of you, I've realized one important thing, which is we need structure, we need direction, and we need to know that we're making progress. Would you agree? Raise your hand if you agree with that. Because if we don't have that, you see, we are not interested, we don't find money interesting. As much as we think we do, we don't. It doesn't excite us at all. What we like and what we find interesting is interest, novelty, purpose. Our dopamine doesn't care about the money. If you made £1 million doing something you hate with ADHD, you will not be able to continue that. It's not sustainable. You need to find your calling, something that really fires you up. And this is why we're going now from your past to the future by 10 years. This is now the new program. So it's what I'm going to break down. Now, the hero's journey. This is the preparation phase. You see, we've designed it now in a way that you cannot move forward until you've done the previous modules because they literally interlink. The hero's journey. This is where I prepare you. I say to you, hey, be prepared. There's going to be bumps on the road. There's going to be diversions. There's going to be things getting in the way. Be prepared for the journey. And on the hero's journey, as you can see, we get the call to adventure. You start to be prepared that there's going to be ups and downs, lefts and rights. Then we talk about slaying the dragon. Raise your hand if you've ever felt that you want to be happy, but you just don't know how, or you feel like you want to be successful, you just can't. There's something inside of you that's just stopping you. It's almost like a barrier to entry. Raise your hand if you know what I'm talking about. You can see we're all one, right? But we all have one thing in common, which is ADHD. We all just want to be happy. But with ADHD, unfortunately, we have a dopamine deficiency, which basically means that we have to work harder to feel happy more than the average person. And on top of that, we, as a child, as an adult, yes, we can get the help we need. Like we're all here to get the help. But as a child, you don't know what's going on. And you end up surviving as a child. You end up feeling lost and confused and not good enough and unloved. And you end up taking that to your adulthood. But what you don't realize is that although you're growing up in looks, though you look older, the only person that's running the shots is your younger self. So that's why we need to always understand that it always starts from your past. So you need to cut the chains that are holding you back. And when I say cut the chains, I know I've done this with pretty much all of you. Raise your hands if you cut the chains. I know I've done it with a lot of you so far. It feels good, right? You feel weird and uncomfortable, but you feel lighter. That's the best way to explain it. So in the hero's journey, I simply prepare you for what's ahead. I simply make you aware of what's going on. This is just a preparation. And we start to evaluate your life. We create a life circle that allows you to see different parts of your life and what needs more work and why. Then We then go into the ADHD Insights Audit phase. Now, in this phase, this is now where we go through the science behind ADHD. Do you know why we do this? Because our brains, we need to know why. Raise your hand if you get very sensitive. That's called RSD, rejection sensitivity dysphoria. And the reason why we feel this way is because we are so attentive to the world. We understand the world so deeply. Remember, guys, we have superpowers. We're superhuman. Our brains are so powerful that we see things so much deeper than the average person, let's say, that unfortunately things get to us a little bit more. But once you understand the reasons and the science behind it, you start to understand it in a way that you have more control over it. So this is why we need to understand ADHD. We need to know the science behind it. We need to do an assessment. We need to explore our options and look at our transformation and our journey, the past phase. If I want to see you in 20 years' time and have a lifelong change, once you make subconscious patterns, they don't break. Once we understand what a subconscious pattern is, and this is what we're going to go through, you will then find very quickly that your life transforms. And when you jump into a problem like this and you understand a subconscious pattern, because I'm going to teach you, you come out of it and you effortlessly do well. You effortlessly just get things done. You effortlessly understand your mind. You effortlessly have more compassion for the people that hurt you. You effortlessly able to forgive. You effortlessly are just making more money. Because the barriers that held you back, those were conscious barriers, but our subconscious mind is way stronger. And if we can build subconscious patterns that override the conscious barriers, we're winning. So these are the phases. The first past phase, we're going to go into the past. We're going to open up about the past, and then we're going to uncover childhood influences. You see, there's no program like this in the world. It literally doesn't exist. I mean, Cash, if you literally said the other day, I've had a few coaches and there's nothing like this, right? Like, you're not lying. There really isn't. I tried to find it. I couldn't. That's why I had to build on. Uncovering childhood influences. You guys as a child, whether it's from your mum or your dad, one of them, there was love and attention that you craved the most. I know for me growing up, my parents were divorced. When I was 3 years old, my parents got divorced. I grew up in a rough place, and these are all childhood experiences that you have to accept and take on the chin. And just understand that you're never going to be able to run from it. If your mum neglected you, if your dad wasn't around, if your mum loved you but conditionally, or if your dad wasn't the father role model but just did what he felt like he had to do, or if maybe your mum was too busy or they were both working, all these little things trigger feelings of just not being good enough, not being worthy, not being happy, that kind of thing. Not being rejected, being unloved. And you take that into your adult life, and then what that does is that enhances the ADHD struggles, enhances the ADHD trauma. And then you're sitting there saying, oh, I feel anxious, oh, I can't sleep, oh, I procrastinate. But you're looking at a surface problem but not the real root problem. Raise your hand if this is making sense. Good stuff, cool. So in the past phase, you're going to go on a journey, and I talk you through this journey. We're going to uncover childhood experiences, identify past traumas. Once you identify them, then we get to work. You see, revealing core fears and limiting beliefs. This is probably the reason why you never helped yourself, say, 10 years ago, or 5 years ago, or 2 years ago, or 6 months ago. The reason why you've been held back this whole time. Limiting beliefs and core fears, once we understand it, it literally changes the game. Once we know how to control our minds, changes the game, which leads me on to recognizing patterns and breaking cycles. And just let me know if you can resonate with this. Who here in the room has been in a position where you find yourself doing the same thing over and over again? Like, it's called the pattern loop. Who here finds yourself just either you're always late, you're always feeling anxious at a certain time of the day. Every morning you wake up anxious. There's one person that might call you, you suddenly feel on edge. You haven't even spoken to them yet. See, these are all very, very common things. And this is something I really want to drive home. These patterns is what's controlling and driving your life. In 20 years, in 30 years, in 40 years, these patterns do not disappear. You just transmit them. What do I mean by transmit? You see, when you have kids, the patterns you just give to your children. And then guess what happens? If they don't deal with them, the patterns go to their children. The pain that you once felt, that pain would have been your kids' pain and your other kids' pain. And you would find that your parents, one of them had probably the same pain, whether they told you or not. And then their parents gave them the same pain. And it's until you break the habit. Someone in the generational backgrounds have to break the habit. So either a whole world of generations come from you with a new pattern that serves you guys or not. And module 5 is recognizing the patterns and breaking the cycles. So we work through this, because if you want to meet me in 20 years time and have a whole life changed and have kids and best show up for you and your family and your grandkids and your nieces and nephews and your sisters and your brothers, it starts from here. It starts here. So recognizing patterns and breaking cycles. Once you recognize the patterns and break cycles, now it's time to forgive and to let go of the past trauma. Now, a lot of you are only going to sit there and go, I can't forgive that person. I hate that person. That person hurt me. That teacher made me angry. My sister used to bully me. My school friend used to take the piss. This happened, that happened. My mum was never there for me. My dad used to always put me down. If you think that you're forgiving and letting go for them, that's why I'm here to help you, because that's completely wrong. See, you don't forgive people for other people, you forgive people for yourself. And that's a hard thing to do, which is why a coach comes very handy, and which is why I'm always here for you guys, which is why I'm literally there to talk to you and to help you. You don't know who you are. You message me and I'm there because I understand what it feels like. The Dickens process. Now, this is a very, very big deal. You see, once we get to this point, because there's a lot of you that the pain is bad, but it's not unbearable. I can kind of tolerate it. Like, I know that things are not like the worst or the best, but it's a little bit better, but it's not the worst or the best. It's okay. Raise your hand if you feel like that sometimes. Just kind of let it go by. Yeah. Well, the Dickens process is a very powerful tool. Where's Kashif? Kashif, you there?
I'm here.
I did
Can
this
you hear
with
me?
you. You don't need to explain too much in the details, but how powerful was it when I made you visualize your past and how and the consequences of your life? Just share it in
Very
a couple of words
powerful.
if you don't mind.
Yeah, no, it was very powerful. It's a good way of really looking at yourself. Just like how you have ADHD, you don't really see the things in front of you. And this makes you kind of look ahead of, the reality of things if you don't make the changes.
Yeah. How urgent did you want to change after doing
Yeah,
that?
no.
I
It
remember.
was very urgent. Yeah, it was very urgent. I really felt like I wanted to conquer the world right afterwards.
But the thing is, right, there's no point understanding the consequences unless you know what the consequences entail. Consequences of what, right? That's why it's important that you understand. You need to identify all these traumas, let go, remove these limiting beliefs, forgive. And the reason why then we do the Dickens process is because once you've let go, it's easy to still feel a bit of tension, where there's still a little bit of tension that you've let go like 80%, but there's like 20% that you still are unable to detach yourself from. And when you do the Dickens process, you realize the consequence of that. It's going to make you hungry to detach. Believe you me. You're going to be like, get this off me like it's a spider.
Ugh.
You're not going to want it on you anymore,
Um,
you know?
can I add one thing, George?
Yes, Kashi, go for it.
About for Dickens that's helpful is that time. So you're looking at in the future, and by not changing, you don't realize how much time goes by so fast. And by not making changes now, that future comes to you real fast. So you know how you don't understand the concept of time when you have ADHD, and you're just doing everything the same way over and over, and all of a sudden 10 years pass, and you're facing your consequence.
Yeah, thank you for sharing, Kashif. And that's absolutely spot on. You'll be surprised how fast time goes by and then it's just too late. But the fact that you guys are here and you're grinding and you're committed, it's not too late now, but it could be. It breaks my heart when I look at people that are 70, 80 and they have so many regrets in their life. It's literally heartbreaking for me. When all they had to do was just have someone just to point them in the direction would have changed everything. But not everyone has that opportunity that you guys have today, just to have met me and me meet you and work together. That hasn't been possible for a lot of people. So yeah, we always have to count our blessings. But yeah, Dickens process. And then we create an empowering story. So guys, once you do this, only until you've got to this point, then you move on to the present phase. But you do not move on to the present phase until I've spoken to you. We've made sure that we're on track with the past and everything's locked. Because when you get to the present phase, you start to feel a bit limitless. It's quite exciting actually. I know, like Ahmed, I know that you're looking to build a business. The present phase, when you feel limitless, like Aisha, you're looking to build a 100 grand business now. Like Namif, you're looking to be a coach yourself, actually, in India. Asiri, you're building on network marketing. These are like when you start to feel limitless. Marcus, you're building a web development business. You guys are all absolutely killing it. And obviously, I can talk about Lloyd Cash, if I can talk about you all. There's so much to say. I could spend an hour on each of you, but genuinely so much to say, and Sarah and Charisse, like literally each and every one of you, you're all incredible people. And then we move on to the present phase. Now, the first thing we do is priming your day. Morning and evening rituals. Morning and evening rituals are the game changer of how you show up in the day. But the problem is that you get people that say, I do exercise in the morning, but I still feel not very good. Or I meditate, but I still don't feel very good. The point I'm making is there's 4 or 5 things that we need to be doing, but priming your day, very, very important things. And then we're going to look at the best way that you can live your life and micro routines for triggers and pattern interrupts. So in this situation, that's where it gets quite interesting. You see, again, going back to the pattern loop, what would it mean to you to be in a position where you've been able to identify a pattern that makes you feel anxious, overwhelmed, or stops you getting things done? And you can recognize it, and within seconds, you've just detached from it. How much would that mean to you? Raise your hand if that would mean a lot to you. Big time, right? Imagine just waking up in the morning and just being in control. You're just chilled, but very in control. This is what we're going to get to. And I'm going to teach you guys micro routines. There's a ton that we're going to work through in the modules, in the online course, in the one-to-one sessions, on our direct messages between each other. And then we're going to learn to master focus and overcome procrastination. Now, again, this is a core focus in our program, as you know, but we've actually got a module now specifically that ties in with the first routine. You see, once you have micro routines for triggers and pattern interrupts, well, a trigger is procrastination, right? A trigger is when you struggle to focus, especially when we're trying to build a business here and we're trying to be happy, we're trying to grow in our careers, we're trying to thrive, but then you're procrastinating. They go against each other. So we're going to now recognize triggers before it affects us and then deal with it. So the next thing, raise your hand if you have ADHD and you're in a relationship and you feel like the communication is difficult because of your ADHD mind. It's literally everyone. This is what it all boils down to. It's understanding how to communicate with ADHD. So there's a system that I teach with relationships, but now there's other systems, there's different ones. There's different things that I talk to you about personally in the one-to-one sessions and the things that we go through. There's so many things that we do. And then we help you to show up as your best self in your key roles. You see, when I talk to you, say, Marcus, you're in the middle of my screen. So when I talk to Marcus, I'm not talking to a man, just a one man. He's not a one-man band. He's a man. He's a father. He's an entrepreneur. He's a friend. He's everything, right? And we're all the same. And when we understand that, you need to show up in your key roles in the best way possible. So this is where the present phase comes in. How do we optimize? How do we show up as our best selves? What do we do that makes us the best we can be in our careers and our businesses? What do we do so our children look up to us in the future and say, God, you are the best mother, father in history? What do we do in that situation? What do we do when it comes to our relationships where your partner literally looks at you and says, you're the person that I always want to be with. I can rely on you and I feel safe and stable around you. How do we optimize that? What do we do? This is what it all comes down to. And then we look to build a sustainable habit and routine that helps you in this situation, helps you to literally optimize and sustain this optimized way of living. Now, once we do that, this is the most exciting part of the program. This is now where we move on to the future phase. Very exciting. This is now where we can create a compelling vision for your future. Now we've got a 10-year plan. That's huge. But if you can do all these steps properly, you will have a 10-year plan that's predetermined. Why? Because we are the creator of our lives. Because we create our thoughts, which then create the feelings, which then create the actions, which then create the results. So when you have the right thoughts in your head, then the right feelings come from those thoughts. The feelings of I believe in myself, I can do this, I will do this, I trust myself, I love myself. Once you have those feelings, those types of feelings make you take action. Action like you've never imagined. Action like, yeah, I'm now going to take risks and take chances and I'm going to go for my dreams because I trust myself and I love myself and I love myself too much to not do that. And then the results come through. So this is what it all boils down to. We're going to set clear goals for your future and we're going to find your purpose in life, your reason why. Why is it important to you? You say, when you know your why are you doing something, then you can figure out your how. For example, I have a business today. I have a coaching business. I do it because of the pain that I went through. I literally feel it's my calling to help each and every one of you. I literally feel called for. Like I'm doing a disservice if I don't help 1 million people before I'm dead. Genuinely. So my why is so strong that even on a day where I'm lacking motivation or a day where I'm a bit tired, the second I think about my why, I'm ready to go. So then at this point, when we create a blueprint for your life and then we create a plan. So in this place now, we create a plan. 3 month, a 6 month, a 12 month, and then a 3-year, 5-year, and 10-year plan we create. So in 10 years, just have a think about what kind of life you'd want to live in that situation. You're going to be married, you're going to have kids, maybe 2, maybe 3. What neighborhood are you going to live in? How much do you want to earn? Where do you want to travel? Because once you understand what you want and why it's important to you, all you need is the right plan and the right strategy and the right mindset. And that mindset will take you places. That's all it boils down to. And then we've now got the solutions library, the Neuro Edge Solutions Library. So this is now where we literally got a toolkit of just solutions to problems. So anytime in the program that you want a quick answer to overcome overwhelm, click, they'll give you a little trick. Being procrastination, click, you're going to find a little trick. Impulsivity, disorganization, lack of focus, time blindness, being forgetful, burnout, difficulty managing finances. We look at everything, guys. We look at it, fear of failure, the fear of just not being good enough, overcoming communication challenges. These are the things that we literally focus on. Conquering depression, anxiety. So these, you guys have in the program, you have access to this immediately. This is literally yours. And I want you guys to all start this immediately. So from tomorrow, we're going to get this show on the road. We're going to get our one-to-one calls booked in and we're going to start managing and monitoring progress. And then obviously, as you guys know, the archetypes. Raise your hand if you know the archetypes. Make sure we check checking in with our archetypes and the meditation. Now what we can do, I want to let you guys take the floor. Anything you guys want to ask, anything you want to touch up on. I know that boundaries has been a very big thing in our program. Boundaries. Raise your hand if you struggled with boundaries in your life at least a million billion times. Ahmed, your hand went up so fast, it was like a rocket.
You know, yeah, there's a lot of things that I've worked on with my ADHD, but I could see how important it is to really like have some boundaries or like have very important boundaries established with yourself, because it's so much easier to I realize like a lot of the time that I used to make a lot of effort and I see my progress, but then I always find that it's so easy for things to go down again just because of like a simple words from someone or something that happens or anything that I don't even realize that my boundaries does not exist for it to protect me or to help me or to establish my own peace with that, you know?
Yeah, and you know what, Ahmed, you're absolutely right. And you said something that's very important. You mentioned boundaries with yourself. What have you found helpful with the boundaries conversations that we've had? Tell me something that you could share with the community yourself.
Well, right now, basically, I'm trying to work on my own self-peace. Anything that disturb my peace, it's literally for me, I have to stay away from that regardless. I've been working on my own forgiveness to give myself the peace that I need in my life to be able to do the things that I need to do. Whether that's related to like my safety, my security, or things that I would let in and will start to affect me, makes me overwhelmed, or I mean, there's so many things, but and yeah, especially like acting out of fear. Yeah, I mean, that's been I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of people who would relate to that. But for me, yeah, acting out of fear from things that sometimes I was wondering what's happening. Like I have no reason whatsoever, but I'm just sort of choosing not to do something or to do something because I'm scared of the other thing happening or whatever subconsciously was happening, or fear of failure that you mentioned or things like that, and I'm not listening or trusting myself. And yeah, I'm just kind of bringing this into my attention and creating some boundaries of what choices am I making and what I'm making these choices just to affirm the fear or kind of something else.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing. And guys, can we just give Ahmed a little bit of credit because it's not easy to be open like that, right? Raise your hand if you can feel Ahmed's truth right there. See, Ahmed, like you're not alone, my man. You're not alone. You know, you need to understand you're not alone here, and you know we are all with you on this. And thank you, genuinely, thank you for just being so open about it and expressing it because you've what you've just done is you've just not just opened up, made realize that you're not alone, but everyone's just realized that they're not alone either because you've spoken up. That's one of the biggest things I want to drive home. And you'll always struggle to feel peace in your decisions. You'll always struggle to feel peace in your decisions that are made from fear, not alignment. Anytime you make a decision from fear, not alignment, basically emotion and not logic, you will never feel peace in those situations ever.
Yeah.
Most of us who lack safety or consistency growing up learned to overextend ourselves, to avoid conflict, to keep people happy. Raise your hand if you're a people pleaser. And I know I was a people pleaser so much in my life. Oh my God, I say yes to everything. I literally used to say yes to everything just in case I disappointed someone and then they never needed me anymore and then I never felt good enough. So I just had to say yes to everything. And all I did was just devalue myself. If you go past a car dealership, and they're just giving away cars, you're going to probably think that car's probably not very valuable. But if you go past a dealership and there's a signboard saying register for the waiting list and there's a 5-year wait, you're probably going to think that car's pretty prestigious. But that's your energy. Be careful who you give your energy to. Don't just dish it out. Don't just give it away. Your energy is very, very important. Imagine you wake up every day with 10 balls of energy. 10 balls of energy every single day. Now, any event that you do in your day from the moment you wake up either gives you a ball or takes a ball away. So you might see someone and you're like, that person might drain 3 balls of energy if I see that person. You've only got 10 now. And then you might think, oh, that person actually gives me 5 balls of energy. I want to see that person. You need to be mindful of who you spend your time with and who you devote this energy to, who you give it to. You see, like I mentioned, like most of us who lack safety or consistency growing up learn to overextend ourselves. Like I said, to just keep people happy, to people please, or to stop something bad from happening. We would do anything in our minds, even though stopping something bad from happening is causing bad to ourselves.
Yeah.
So to stop something bad externally, you're harming yourself. But here's the truth: when your boundaries are unclear, your nervous system never, ever relaxes. Ever. You're constantly scanning, managing, performing, making sure everyone's happy other than you. And that's not peace, that's survival.
George, can I quickly jump in? I've got something
Please.
to obviously put with the group.
Yes, sir.
I don't know if anyone ever gets this, but probably giving my energy to the wrong people, I'm probably guilty of. But I do find, like when I'm with people, whether they're good or bad friends, that I find like I have a connection with them at that moment in time. I like the conversational flow. I'll feel good in the company. I'll be enjoying the company, and then the next day, I've got this like massive urge of guilt and shame. And the next time I see that person, I just don't feel that connection again, and I feel so distant with them, and I feel like. I don't know if people think like I'm weird or because obviously that connection I had from the last time to the next time, it's like completely different. I don't know if other people get that like within ADHD or if it's just me or what.
Raise your hand if you can kind of resonate with that.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah. So Lloyd, you're not weird because Lloyd made a really good point, and I really want to touch up on this as well. See, Lloyd, what you're describing about like you're meeting someone, the connection's incredible, you're on a good vibe, everything's great, and then the next day you're just like, it feels a bit weird now. You feel a bit odd, and then all of a sudden you're not connecting as well the next time because your brain is just like not feeling right as it was the first time round. And this is actually why people drink and smoke, because you find something that you could do together and it makes you feel better. Whereas if you don't do that trigger, whether it's smoking or drinking, you suddenly find that why am I even with you? Like, what am I doing with this person? It's almost like I have to do something to even enjoy their company. You know, that sense of connection in the moment followed by a wave of shame and guilt after that, you said, that's not random. That's often what happens, like I said, when your nervous system is wired to feel unsafe. And when you feel unsafe intimately, not sexual, but intimately could be friendships, relationships as well, or acceptance, just not feeling accepted. In the moment you allow a connection, you let your guard down. But then later down the line, your brain starts scanning. Did I say too much? Was I too much? Do they still like me? Raise your hand if you've had these thoughts. You've been out somewhere, you come out, you're like, did I talk too much? Did I say something that upset Uncle Fred? Did I? What I did, was that a bit forward? Or should I have said that? Or do they still like me? Or are they now talking about me behind my back because of maybe something in my mind that I'm creating? See, all you raise your hands because these are common things. Very, very common in people who grew up masking. People who grew up feeling like love was conditional. So your brain learned that connection is dangerous. Because once it understands that love is conditional, it sees it as a danger. Your brain says, don't get too close. Don't get too close. Don't get too seen. So in the moments, you feel great, but all of a sudden, you're out. And so that post-connection shame is actually your body trying to protect you. That shame you felt, Lord, you mentioned, that guilt, that's your body actually, believe it or not, trying to protect you from rejection, even if there's no threat whatsoever. And again, this comes back to pattern loops. This is why the pattern loops are so important. This is why the modules have been designed now in a way that, Lloyd, that will get picked up in the past phase, get dealt with in the present, and then in the future phase, you're not dealing with that anymore. This is why we're doing what we're doing. But here's the truth as well. I really want to drive something home here. Here's the truth. You're not doing anything wrong by enjoying your friends. There's no guilt in just being happy and enjoying the moment. Most people tell me that they're scared of failure. In an actual fact, they're actually more scared of success. Most people tell me they don't want to be depressed, but they're actually more scared of being happy. Depressed and feeling like a failure is actually where they're most comfortable. That's where they feel like they're home. It's the actual happiness, the thriving that scares them more, you know? And this is why it's important to understand the triggers and overcome those triggers. And let me tell you something. Never answer questions that you wasn't asked. It's okay to sit in a room and not speak. If they're not speaking, you don't speak. You see, you don't have to fill up the silence. When you're in a room, how many times have you ever been in a position, raise your hand if you've been in a position where there's been an awkward silence, you've just had to just over talk or over spill just to like make the noise come out. Just that you just feel like if there's a silence that you just have to say something. And this is what it boils down to. Understanding that, remember the car dealership analogy. The more you speak, the more you give, the less valuable you are. If you look at interviews with very wealthy people, very wealthy human beings, Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, these high-end celebrities, be careful of your words. This is how boundaries come in. You see, when you overtalk, you're not protecting yourself. You're letting people in. You're devaluing yourself. And that's the first step to people looking at you in a way that you don't appreciate, attracting the wrong crowds, attracting toxic people. That's how it starts. But yeah, I'm going to arrange a meetup December or January time. And I would love to see each and every one of you. We could just meet up, go for a nice big meal and actually just get to know each other in person. You know what I mean? I think that would be quite nice. I think
Perhaps we could just invite you guys to the wedding and we all meet up there.
so just for context, for those that don't know, so Salma and Ahmed, the two beautiful people on the screen, they're engaged to getting married this year.
Wow.
Yeah. So congratulations to you both. So Salma joined my program after Ahmed. Ahmed using my program I think 1 or 2 weeks, and then Salma then joined my program. And it's been a pleasure to work with you both separately and together. It's been an absolute pleasure. You know, you're both, I feel incredibly privileged to know you both. You know, you're both very successful in your own fields and what you guys do. And yeah, you're definitely going to raise some beautiful kids.
Oh, thank you so much. Honestly, George, I'm so grateful that we got to like meet you at this point of life, because I don't want to just say this, but like if it wasn't for you, like we could have just broke off somehow.
Wow. That means
Yeah,
so
it was, we
Wow.
were getting like into a lot of like miscommunications and a lot of, you know, triggering each other and so many things. We struggled so bad. Both of us have ADHD. I've been recently diagnosed. He's been diagnosed for a few years now. So yeah, it's been a huge help. I'm so grateful for this, honestly.
I appreciate it.
And yeah.
Thank you
Salma,
so much.
hard relate, Salma. My partner has OCD. I have ADHD. It's been shit until I talked to George. And now it's like, I'm like, okay, so I have ADHD and you have OCD. So because he has OCD and he's been diagnosed for years now, and so he knows every single neurodivergence. And I was like, okay, I have ADHD. It's how it affects me, and it's been so much better.
No,
Same, we nearly broke off last December. Before even our 1 year anniversary, we nearly broke off. And that is the moment I decided, okay, I have to change. I went to therapy, then I met George. Timing was perfect. Hard relate.
I really appreciate
Wow.
you guys saying that. Genuinely, it means a lot to me, because I don't just want to help you guys. My goal is to help you, but then you're going to help millions of people yourselves in your own ways, you know. So that's what I aim for. And yeah, no, I really appreciate Salma and Namva. Thanks for the kind words. It means a lot to me, because I remember one in a place that I was once in, you know. And yeah, I appreciate each and every one of you. And yeah, guys, it's been an absolute pleasure. I hope you have a great evening. And so take care.
Thank you.
George. See you guys.
Pleasure. Take care, everyone. Happy birthday again, Lloyd.
Yeah.
Thank
Thank you very much.
Happy birthday, Lloyd.
Take care. Bye.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Yeah. Bye bye.
Yeah, bye bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Take care.